Sometimes I miss those uncompromising, spectacular battles. But there is one person who still gives me those feelings. This is Francis Ngannou. I'm always looking forward to this guy's next fight, and I'm extremely sorry that they're so rare. After all, he leaves almost no chance for another heavyweight in terms of entertainment. Hello fighters, MMA Iron Channel is with you. In this video, we will remember the most memorable fight of the Cameroonian knockout player Francis Ngannou. But before the start of this video, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and put a like so that this video is seen by as many people as possible. I grew up in a poor neighborhood. We literally survived with my mother and brothers. If I didn't have this school of life, I wouldn't have achieved what I achieved. Now I can provide food for a whole area. And then I could not afford myself. I unloaded huge trucks with clothes, dragging on myself unbearable loads. You know, it's hardening. When you work in your career, and at any moment you can crash and fall. When you see that great people give up their lives for a pittance, you realize that life is not the easiest thing. And if you want to achieve something, you have to make a huge effort. Francis grew up in absolutely miserable conditions. His mother could barely feed Ngannou and several other children from the family, and at the age of 12, the future fighter went to work in a sand quarry. There he worked for days on end in order to somehow earn money for training. But the money was sorely lacking. According to Francis himself, he did not want to work without any career growth throughout his life. So in search of a better life, he went to the capital of the country where he worked as a loader. Francis loaded balls with clothes, the weight of which reached 100 kilograms. There Ngannou began to play sports, but the quality of ammunition in the gym did not satisfy the fighter. So he decided on major changes in life. It is still unknown exactly how Francis got to France. Initially, he was helped by a public organization, which is now helped by the Frenchman himself. He came to Paris with only 100 euros in his pocket, and at first lived in a parking lot. In addition, Ngannou worked for the same public organization. In France, Ngannou dreamed of becoming a boxer, but the coach who noticed him at the training in a public hall advised him to move into MMA. In Paris, he met the founder of the MMA Factory Hall, thanks to which he got into professional sports. There he was given the necessary equipment for training. At off on ESPN1, Cain Velasquez, a two-time UFC champion and one of the strongest heavyweights in the world, returned to the octagon. He hasn't fought since July 2016. At first, injuries got in the way, then Cain had a son, and he devoted time to the family. After Velasquez, he could not agree with the UFC about the contract. Finally, in January, it was reported that Cain would fight knockout officer Francis Ngannou on Feb 18. The fight lasted 26 seconds. Velasquez began to work with kicks from the distance, fearing Ngannou's rapprochement. Seconds later, when Cain was at the net, it did happen. Velasquez immediately responded with an attempted takedown and stumbled upon an uppercut. Cain's left leg unnaturally disappeared from under him, after which a grimace of pain flashed on his face. Francis Ngannou landed several finishing blows, most of which were in the block, but referee Jason Herzog was quick to stop the fight. The plan works until the first missed blow. Those words, said by Mike Tyson a few decades ago, apply perfectly well to Ngannou. In his fight with Junior Dos Santos, everything happened exactly like that. Although the Brazilian nicknamed Gypsy is one of the most serious opponents in Francis' career. He was a UFC champion, had a total of 5 title fights, and defeated many legends, but not Francis Ngannou. This African rink is almost impossible to slow down now. The fight began with Ngannou's low kicks on the opponent's legs, but the first such blow was taken by Dos Santos. At the end of half a minute of the fight, he even knocked the low kick of the Cameroonian off his feet, but he immediately jumped back. Then Francis almost imprinted the Brazilian into the net with the left side of the head. This time it was lucky. The blow came in passing. In the following moments, the fighters again exchanged low kicks, and here we can safely say, This element remained with the Brazilian, but it didn't make it any easier for him. 65 seconds after the start of the fight, it was all over. Dos Santos missed the right side, was at a disadvantage with his back to Ngannou and received 2 blows to the chin with his right hand. The second of them was a knockdown, from which Jr. had no chance to get out. Francis finished him off for a few seconds. The referee stopped the fight without delay. Indeed, there was nothing to wait for there. Exactly 70 seconds lasted the main fight of the tournament in Minneapolis. If there's a man who can outshine Ngannou, it's Rozenstruik. Maybe there's no such insane strength in the hands of a Surinamese fighter, but technically he's much more impressive, as evidenced by a good backroom in kickboxing. 85 fights, 76 wins, 64 of them by knockout. And in the UFC, all fights, except for the last one, lasted less than a minute and ended in favor of Rozenstruik. As expected, the fight did not last long, or to be more precise, only 20 seconds. Rozenstruik attacked Ngannou's front leg with a whipping low kick, after which the Predator rushed at his opponent with a hail of blows, one of which landed directly in Rozenstruik's jaw, knocking him off his feet. Rozenstruik was already unconscious when Ngannou began to finish him off until the referee arrived, immediately stopping the fight. And Croatian-born Mexican came out to fight after a trilogy with Daniel Cormier that lasted 3 years. Ngannou approached the fight on a powerful series of 4 victories that were won in a total of less than 3 minutes. In this light, many had only one question in mind: whether the 38-year-old Miocic would withstand the powerful attacks of the challenger, or a fierce Cameroonian will take his own at the expense of power. Ngannou began the fight with low kicks, then checked Miocic's jaw with a heavy overhand. When the champion was left standing on his feet, Francis, defending against a takedown, himself transferred Stipe to the canvas, simultaneously rewarding him with a series of his trademark bombs. It was noticeable that Ngannou was not going to rush things, as in the first fight, coolly waiting for the right moments to attack. In the second round, Miocic became more active, also trying to punch calf kicks. In one episode, Ngannou went forward, dropping the champion with a jab. Stipe fell with his back to the net, but quickly rose, after which he broke the distance. When Francis began to pursue him, Miocic caught the challenger with a blow towards him. It seemed to him that he shook Ngannou, and therefore decided to go to the exchange, where Francis was able to cut down the champion with a left hook. Miocic collapsed to the ground. The fight was already over, but Ngannou managed to deliver another blow to his opponent, which put a fat point in this fight. I'd had a very hard life. I didn't have a job, and therefore no money. I had nowhere to live. I didn't have anything. So I focused on training to get out of where I was. I remember arriving in France on a Sunday, and on Monday, I was looking for a gym. I found one seat, and the first thing I said when I was signing up at the front desk was that I needed a boxing coach. I told them, I just came from Cameroon, I have no money, I have nowhere to live, but I don't ask anything from you. I need one thing: a place where I can train, because I want to become a world champion.